Have you ever waited thinking about something so long that the opportunity just passed you by? You knew what to do and you wanted to do it, but something held you back. The girl you wanted to talk to, the opportunity you missed, the idea you never acted on. And by the time you were finally ready, it was already gone. I'm gonna explain to you how to stop overthinking and start taking action, and I'm gonna explain it with Dark Souls and a Japanese philosopher named Yukio Mishima. Siegmeyer of Katarina is the perfect example. He's the dreamer, the thinker.
Here I sit, in quite a pickle.
He wants to be a hero, but he never moves, until you do it for him. When you first meet him at Sen's fortress, the gates to the fortress are closed. Instead of finding another way in, he just sits there thinking. You go through actual hell, ringing bells and shit, and open the gate for him. He only enters because you cleared the path. When he tries to fight enemies for himself, if you help him, he feels ashamed. If you don't, he might die. Either way, his story ends in tragedy because he waited too long. He died not because he was evil or trying to make us do all the work for him, but because he was just too slow to action, too hesitant, too much in his head. Siegmeyer dreamed of being a hero, but he waited too long. And he died always wanting to do something, but never actually having done anything. This isn't just a Dark Souls story. Yukio Mishima wrote about this exact problem in his book Sun and Steel. He said there's a difference between thinking about life and actually living it through the body, through sweat and pain and action. Words are not truth, the body is. Those who only think and never act become hollow. Like the hollows roaming around the world of Dark Souls. They lost all their purpose, maybe from overthinking stuff too much. Also think about the crestfallen warriors in every Dark Souls game, sitting at Firelink or Majula, doubting and groaning and never moving forward. Those who only think and never act become hollow. I kind of feel like Siegmeyer would be one of those people who they read all the books and they go to university for business, how to start a business, but they never actually start a business. I feel like he would be one of those people. He does all the thinking in the world, but without any action, none of his ideas get made real. But we, as the player, move forward. We fight, die, learn, and try again. The one who feels the steel and walks under the sun. Because you don't get better at fighting by thinking about how to fight. You get better at fighting by picking up a sword and going and swinging it around at people, Mishima believed the body itself carried wisdom. Build strength, train discipline, and you gain a kind of intelligence you can't get from books. Nobody who builds real muscle says that their effort was useless. They feel the truth of their work in their body. They feel like it was worth it. This is what Siegmeyer lacked. He didn't need a perfect plan. He needed to act. To gain that practical wisdom, you only can acquire by doing, by taking action, by trying. Mishima realized he'd put too much emphasis on the intellect and not enough on the body. He realized that somehow the mind was deceptive, and in order to really live well, you had to make your body strong. And by doing this, you get embodied intelligence, a different type of intelligence, something that can only be learned by feeling and doing, not just reading and observing. In his book, Mishima says, "The men who indulge in nocturnal thought, it seemed to me, without exception, had dry, lustrous skins and sagging stomachs. Yet why must it be that men always seek out the depths, the abyss?" He's talking about philosophers and intellectuals who write in their journals about the abyss, about the deepest, darkest corners of our minds. But they're writing this sitting in their home with their fat bellies because they're full of food and they're untouched by the sun, and they don't have a drop of sweat because they don't break sweats anymore because they don't do anything. They just sit inside and write about the abyss. Mishima says that a path to real enlightenment comes from a pursuit of both body and mind. When you think too much about something, it becomes worse in your mind. You conjure your own personal abyss in your head that doesn't exist, and it makes you see the world differently, and I mean in a bad way. Pondering and overthinking yields less results than just going and trying to figure it out and maybe failing. but just going and trying to figure it out. Like for Siegmeyer, instead of just waiting and hoping the gate would just open for him, he could have saved himself time and gone to look for the solution to the closed gate himself, And once he figured it out himself, it would have been his own decision leading to his own success. It's not someone else carrying him. If he figured it out himself, he would be proud of himself too. Mishima took his ideas to the extreme. He even chose a heroic death by committing seppuku instead of living passively. He would rather die than live a mediocre life. You don't need to go that far, but there is truth in his point. If someone else fights your battles for you, you lose not just the fight, but your dignity. It's better to try and fail than to never try at all. I want to give you actionable steps from this video, but I can't just give you like a universal thing that everybody can do right now. It needs to be specific to you. So I want you to ask yourself, what are you putting off? What do you know that you need to do, but you're not doing it? Because it's not going to happen without you. What are you waiting for? Because it's not going to happen without you. If you don't talk to the girl, how will she ever get to know you? If you don't just start going to the gym, how will you ever make any gains? Are you gonna think yourself some gains? You're gonna think yourself some muscles. Okay. Even if you don't have a perfect workout plan, just do something. Do push-ups, do squats. Man, it doesn't need to be this complicated. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need to isolate every individual muscle group. You just need to move your body. You just need to exercise. People have been alive on this earth for how long, and they've made it just fine without like all this equipment and knowledge of ideal optimal exercise routines. You can do it. You just need to move your body, man. You got this. I want to help you guys like as much as I possibly can, so if there's anything that I missed or you want me to talk about, then let me know in the comments, like please. And if you like talking about Dark Souls and self-improvement and you want to talk about it more, then I just started a new community where people can, talk about the same stuff as us, people who all like the same Dark Souls and self-improvement sort of thing. We can all come together and talk about like, stuff that we like and new ideas, and you can talk to me directly. We can make new video ideas together. I'll also be posting raw, unedited videos that don't get posted onto the YouTube channel. And I think it would be really fun, and I think it's a good idea. And so if you're interested in that, then the link is below in the video description. I'm not forcing you. If you don't want to, then you don't have to. But it's there if you want to join. Yeah, that's everything. We'll talk to you guys later.